Hello everybody and welcome back to the Limbus Company. Alrighty, so it appears as though a 9.5 chapter has been released. So, let's go ahead and play it through. Ooh. Stages. And we start with the funeral. By the way, I'm gonna show you a little something once we get our first fight. Something I'm real proud of. A funeral was held for Martin and the LCE researchers today. I thought I'd seen more than my fair share of deaths throughout my journey with the sinners. But never before had I witnessed this many people gather in one place to mourn the deceased together. The unfamiliarity made me a bit out of place. Ah, it's not voiced. I see. It appears it's up to me, then. Am I doing this right? Most of the sinners seem to be feeling that similar sense of being out of their element as well. Some of them were asking Bersault, apparently the most knowledgeable of them all when it came to funeral process and etiquette, all manner of questions for pointers.
Expressing respect is the primary purpose. Hand placement and gesture are unimportant if that objective could be accomplished.
Hey, where do I put this?
Beneath the third pillar to the right.
Ugh. Can't any of you quit chattering for 1 second? Have you all forgotten the instruction to carry yourselves with solemn propriety that befits the occasion?
Cut me some slack. I haven't been to funerals all that much.
I mean, I did tell you to read the manual. I even underlined all the important parts for you.
Oh, sorry, Ishii. The wall of text was just too much for me. My focus started fizzling out from page 30 onwards.
Same. Hadn't every sinner here attended a funeral before? Back when we set foot in that grim manor in T-Corp?
Ah, thou speakest of the funeral held in young Heathcliff's manor, dost thou not? The one bereft of the dead.
Ugh, bereft of the dead? I mean, someone had to have died. There wouldn't have been a property dispute big enough to involve the Wi-Fi Association's notarization otherwise. I've said this time and again, but it was just an intentional anonymity to prevent family strife.
Well, you knew originally. Intentional anonymity, is it? If the situation was indeed as thou sayest, then there was no helping it, forsooth. Yet 'tis a pity that the dead wasn't named at their own funeral.
The name of the deceased was... It was Catherine's funeral. She was very dear to Heathcliff. That's interesting that we're letting Heathcliff know that we know. Because he's, as far as Heathcliff knows, effectively, he was the only one who knew.
I have thoroughly reviewed the past 5 years' worth of local newspapers pertaining to the matter, yet no such name relevant to the case was identified, Manager.
It's fine, Clockhead. At least you remember. That's good enough, innit? It had to be the Golden Bow's influence. Somewhere along the way, everyone's memories of the event at Wuthering Heights had become warped. The sinners seemed to think that the Golden Bow had always been there in that manner, and that Nellie was coaxed into stealing it by her man. Linton, in their minds, was now a grieving brother, who had been conducting research for his dead sister's sake. Nobody questioned it. Not Don Quixote. Not Faust. Every single sinner believed the twisted version of the memory, as if it was a proven fact. Heathcliff and I gave up trying to correct them. Instead, we'd just check in on each other's memories every now and again. Honestly, knowing that at least one person remembers someone who has seemingly been erased from everything, at least there's a bit of comfort knowing that one other person still remembers. It might not be much of a comfort, but hey, it's a comfort anyways. Because if there's something that he and I realized, it was that anything tied to Catherine had already been painted over. Every detail gilded and glossed over with the glow of the bow. The point is, how should I put this? The circumstances of that funeral didn't exactly leave us much room to properly express our condolences back then. Between Heathcliff running on a rampage and that Hindley guy bent on interfering with the execution of the will, I assumed that sort of impediment was pretty common stuff for funerals, but apparently not, huh? No. Well, I actually think it's rare to see a place that follows proper funeral procedures. I've traveled around quite a bit myself, but I can't confidently say that I've never been to a legitimate funeral. The one at Wuthering Heights was one of the more proper funerals, if only for pretending to have a process. They at least prepared a coffin and even had a formal reading of the will. It seems funerals are far from being an everyday custom in the city. Not ready to do your voice.
Funerals are considered a rather extravagant practice here as well. Corporations are not eager to grant time offs just because an irrelevant someone has died, and the price of real estate seldom makes it viable to buy land and erect memorial houses on it.
Then what other options do people usually have? Sweepers being forgotten, thrown into a shredder.
We used to just leave them where they died. And after one night's sleep, the bodies were gone. Just like that.
Yeah, it's sweepers. Better than paying loads of money to bury them somewhere just to have that stir up a load of daft rumors, eh? Rumors? You know, rumors about there being valuables buried with the bodies, or an arm being some fancy prosthesis, all that rot. Better let the dead go in peace than to bury them in a grave just for some sods to later desecrate it.
In Hong Yuan, people tend to set up graves if they have enough room to spare. Of course, there wasn't a guarantee that they wouldn't lose the burial room by the next restructuring day.
Hohenheim scoffed and hung his head. Yeah, well, to be fair, I did too, so...
Adios foolishness, all of it. Comforting the soul of the departed. Another mendacity. All those funds so carelessly squandered, all for the purpose of furnishing the living with a fragile excuse to cling on.
Are those words from his heart, or just something said to convince himself? Whichever was the truth, I couldn't see the look on his face with his head tucked so low. The funeral didn't last long. It was just a brief moment of silence, followed by a few quick goodbyes that were shorter still. The ceremony came to a close once Alyssa, who was still in recovery, came to pay her final respects. The flames devoured the coffins of Martin and the other researchers, announcing the end of their existence with the crackle of firewood.
So, I suppose you'll be leaving now.
Oh. We're staying until Gregor's stable enough to travel.
Dante says we'll remain here until Gregor's condition settles.
Ah. Gregor came to his senses again a few days after his unforeseen metamorphosis in the battle against the Thumb Nurse Father. He was given a checkup, and Hohenheim said there's no cause for concern. Physically, that is. The psychological assessment turned up disastrous, to say the least. Gregor was declared unfit for combat deployment for the time being.
So, you won't be leaving just yet. Good to know. Then I assume you'll be okay with us borrowing Sinclair for a while?
Hmm? Me?
Yes, you. The LCE wants to look into that sign you manifested, Sinclair. The higher-ups didn't waste a second greenlighting the project, which means what I'm telling you is more of a notice of investigation than a request for permission. Huh? What investigation? What are you...
It's just a rather rudimentary instance of human experimentation. Calm yourself.
That's supposed to calm him down?
Human experimentation? Do you really have to put it like that, boss? Not to worry, Sinclair. A swipe or two of your skin, maybe some talk therapy, that's all there is to it. Of course, if we had your consent, the avenues of research could be vastly... No! I'm not giving you my consent!
For your reference, the other departments have also submitted quite enthusiastic requests for research and observational purposes.
Oh, you have no idea. We had to get Boss to fend off the LCA's Mirror World Observatorium department and their hissy fits. They wanted to be the first one to get their hands on you and spearhead the research, you see. Haha. And had we allowed them, they'd have kept you for a good few months before letting you go. So at least the least you could do is thank us.
Hang on. Why am I struggling to read that sentence so much?
So the least you could do is thank us is be a good boy and cooperate. Ah, just in time. Our researchers are here.
Good boy. Alyssa waved at the researchers who were filing out of the funeral hall after paying their respects. It wasn't long before Sinclair found himself surrounded on all sides.
Wait! I'm perfectly capable of walking there on my own, so just don't run any painful tests on me. Of course.
Stay strong, Sinclair. But don't worry, I'll rewind if it's something too bad. All I could do was to offer an unspoken encouragement to Sinclair, who sounded ready to collapse into full-blown panic any minute. What about you? You're not going in with him?
Oh, it's back to the long-term recovery ward for me. I always thought scientific research was the one thing that flamed my passion, but with the recent events having introduced me to the merits of paid sick leave, I realized that time off beats research projects in my book. Marginally.
Enjoy it while it lasts. I highly suspect that every request for PTO submitted by our department will be rejected for the rest of the year.
Well, it's true. Your average corporation doesn't give more than a week off a year.
Yeah. Unless you're part-time, I guess. Then technically you always have days off. As soon as Alyssa trudged off with her dragging steps, the researcher seized Sinclair and carried really, him away.
Alright, we should get going too.
Oh, do you all have somewhere else to be?
Well, I thought I'd go visit Gregor. I'm worried about him.
Got something I said I'd help with. Gotta be there for it.
I'm going with Sinclair to get some rest. Also to keep an eye on the researchers and stop them if they try anything fishy with the experiments. Let me know later if you need anything, Dante.
The sinners fanned out in different directions. They seemed to have their own errands to run during our stay at the LCE.
Everyone's busy with their own thing.
Except you. The only ones keeping me company now were Ryoshu, who'd been filling the air around with thick cigarette smoke, and Don Quixote, who was sniffing and asking around at every corner for Vespa in a valiant quest for the new color fixer's whereabouts. Faust was still here too, staring blankly into the air. Is she accessing the Giselle craft?
You seem to have some time to spare, manager.
As I stood there wondering what I should do next to pass the time, Hohenheim, who had apparently finished tackling and signing the stack of papers, walked over to me.
This makes things rather convenient. There is something I had intended to discuss with you and Sinner Ryoshu. A matter that requires your assistance.
What kind of assistance?
WKOA, says CH.
Wait a minute, did Ryoshi just step in as my interpreter? I feel like she's done that before, hasn't she? No, I'm thinking of Hong Lu and Ryoshi's body. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, so technically she has. It's not that I don't appreciate her gesture, especially since she'd usually snap at me and tell me to find someone else to interpret whenever the issue came up. But I can't help but doubt whether her choice method of interpretation actually accomplishes anything.
There is, I must admit, a certain novelty in witnessing the reconstitution of that which requires interpretation into yet another linguistic form equally demanding of it.
Dude, that's so good. He's like, wow. So I went from not understanding to barely understanding. Great.
It would seem we are in need of more manpower.
Scratching his head, Hohenheim looked around for a moment before coming to a sudden pause, as though an idea had crossed his mind. At the end of his gaze was a certain someone who was busy badgering LCCA employees with her relentless questioning.
Who else, pray, might know where he is if thou knowest not? Now listen closely. The one I seek is a bearer of hair fashioned in the likeness of a bowl.
Dang, you know it's bad when Dawn is saying you have a bowl cut.
You there, why don't you join us too?
Dost thou speak of me?
The LCCA personnel, who were cornered by Dawn and her rather forceful interrogation regarding Vespa's whereabouts, took the opportunity and fled the scene without so much as a backward glance the moment their captor turned her head to answer Hohenheim.
Indeed. There is a task that requires your assistance.
I have yet more words to trade with the most noble yellow harpoon.
You seek to emulate the virtue of chivalry. Does that entail turning down the earnest plea of those in need?
Wow, putting her own thing against her. What a brilliant.
For the sake of clarity and distinction, it would be prudent to assign you a different identifier from that of my assistant. You are to be number 2. That is, assistant number 2.
I have not yet concluded mine exchange with the yellow harpoon, but no true knight would abandon those who call for aid. Pray, speak thy quest. How may I be of service to thee?
Delegating the interpretation of the manager's speech to Sin number 4 has proven to be counterproductive. As such, your task will be to report to me what the manager says.
Oh, that is indeed a simple task. Oh, no.
However, this WKOA eludeth mine understanding as well. Prithee, allow me but a little more time to uncover its mystery.
Relay the manager's words, not Sinner Ryoshu's.
They are asking you what kind of assistance you need.
The request for interpretation was not directed to you, but I cannot deny that your meddling in the present circumstance is a welcome one.
It was simply that the irrationality and inefficiency of your suboptimal staffing choice and workflow have become sufficiently unbearable. Faust hopes that this was not some guileful scheme devised to elicit Faust's cooperation.
In any case, manager, this request of mine concerns an investigation into the back rooms, located in the House of Spiders. I deem that the two of you should be the ones most familiar with the structure and layout of the house. After all, you were the one monitoring the entirety of the 5-pronged assault operation, and Sinner number 4's familiarity does not bear repeating.
Do we go to the House of Spiders right away? I'm gonna guess that she's just repeating what we said, but...
H-O-S-R-A.
You have assisted enough. Perhaps you could help, Faust.
Sure.
Wow. That's how you know she's in a bad mood. She's actually helping Hohenheim. Although not word for word, Faust relayed my intention to Hohenheim, who responded by shaking his head.
Not immediately, no. There is one more member you should bring along.
One more member? Seeing me tilting my head, Hohenheim pushed up his glasses. Great, he had to get that glare in there.
The apprentice who was captured alive in the House of Spiders.
No way! We're bringing her? Is she actually gonna get a redemption arc? I hope so. I mean, she seemed fine.
Kira, she has regained consciousness.
The place Hohenheim led us to looked less like a recovery ward and more like an interrogation chamber. Though, every single medical equipment installed around seemed to be state-of-the-art. This place looks well-equipped.
Probably a direct order from upper management. Although technologies to restore lost body parts are common enough in the city, a facility of this kind is required to preserve the original form of her lower body in the reconstruction process while keeping the cost reasonable.
Reasonable, huh? Do I want to ask how expensive the other options are, if this counts as reasonable? A windowless room, thick, with the sharp scent of medicine and chemicals. Oh, she looks... alive. I mean, you know, got a big old scar across your stomach, but that's honestly, for the city, not that bad. Kira was sitting... Kira? I'm gonna say Kira. I don't know how to properly pronounce that, though. Was sitting on the bed at the center of the room, kicking her feet as she regarded us. For someone recovering from bisection, she didn't look much different from how she'd appeared when I'd seen her through the sinner's shared vision. Hi. Prisoner! Aww. I don't know. I think she deserves a chance, right? Maybe it's just temporary. Maybe it's just temporary to see if she's, like, overly hostile or not.
She was captured alive for the extraction of information, yes? How far along is the process of the extraction?
It hasn't yet begun, actually. We are waiting until the lines of information that warrant questioning can be isolated. So far, all available personnel have been fully engaged in analyzing the documents and items discovered in the House of Spiders.
You know, I'm at a crossroads. What voice do I give her? I've seen... I know what her dialogue is, and honestly, I feel like there's only one fitting voice, but I don't know if I can do that for an entire chapter, I'm gonna be honest. That, it has to be the one, doesn't it? Alright. Brace yourselves. If you don't know what voice I'm about to do, let me warn you, it's gonna be ear-shattering. We'll see if I can even keep it up. Maybe I'll change it halfway through. But for the moment... Now, she's a lot sassier. Not really high-pitched, right? So...
I mean, technically, what I was gonna do is I was just gonna do the different voice, but honestly, I don't even know that fits Kira.
Maybe like a slightly pitched up Rodion? That's... I don't know. I'm thinking it out, and I'm like, that's gonna sound too much like teen... what's a proper word? Like, rich, snooty girl, you know what you know the one, where it's like, oh my god, Claire. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. Arguably, that might fit. I need to hear her voice again, honestly, to decide, so I'm just gonna do a temporary one, and we'll just see how it goes.
And what's she even doing here?
There is work to be done, contingent upon information obtainable only from a recent inhabitant of the House of Spiders. And following a discussion with the upper management, I have decided to put you to use as the company had originally intended.
No TV, no comic books, just a super prickly glare and a cold shoulder whenever I ask for something to pass the time. And now you suddenly need my help, huh? Give me one reason I should cooperate.
Hohenheim didn't so much as twitch an eyebrow at Kira's biting tone. He merely gave her a nod with a steely, imperturbable expression.
I didn't ask for your help. Put you to use, I believe, is what I said.
What?
Your survival is not incidental. It is a result of a calculation. The company anticipates a potential profit by keeping you alive. Expected gain, as the term goes. Without such a forecast on the company's part, you would have already been disposed of. The upper management consists of people who would be more disinclined to tolerate the daily maintenance, how's a hard word, goodness, and depreciation costs of this room, even at half their current numbers. Which brings us to our next point. Should you insist on maintaining this uncooperative attitude, the company may decide to convene a meeting to reassess your worth, or shall we say lack thereof, in its projected income statement. Well, suffice to say, that such a reassessment would skew heavily against your favor. The outcome would be a recommendation for immediate disposal.
Hohenheim's always had a way with words that could prickle and sting. But now with Kira, it almost felt as if he traded the usual thorn off for a sharper knife, intent on twisting it right where it hurt.
I'm dead meat as soon as my usefulness runs out anyway. It's not like you're gonna let me live. Not after I killed a bazillion of your guys.
Ah, so you anticipated some form of corporate-level retaliatory response against your person. That is indeed a curious line of reasoning. Then I must tell you that unlike your typical backstreet syndicate, such as the Middle, corporate entities of the city tend to avoid choices that may incur losses.
The value of the information that could be extracted from an apprentice of the Middle, and the combat prowess honed under the tutelage of a great brother of the Middle. These two considerations are likely what increased your value in the eyes of the company. Oh, y'all got zero self-respect, huh?
You should consider yourself fortunate.
Huh? The heck are you on about?
Other companies would not solicit your cooperation by means of a verbal exchange. Your interrogator would simply open your cranium, harvest your brain, and extract any and all necessary information without going through intermediary steps, such as this. Even without resorting to such methods, the range of available means to compel the disclosure of information is practically limitless. Truth serums, hypnotic suggestions, electrical shocks and stimulations, and, of course, procedures utilizing distortions and abnormalities. That being said, the LCE department prefers to distance itself from such uncivilized approaches that may entail complications and after effects.
I don't think she's buying a word of what you're saying.
I do hope that we share a similar predilection. Predilection.
You're so freaking annoying. You know that, mister?
The feeling is entirely mutual.
Leaving the biting chill of his threats to sink in, Hohenheim turned toward the exit.
Give her some push and bring her along. I don't quite seem to be myself today. No, disregard that. That, too, was a rather foolish thing to say. I will defer this matter to you, manager. Work of this sort likely falls more within your capabilities than my own.
And with that, Hohenheim stepped out of the room, leaving me to deal with Kitteh. His reaction was understandable. I mean, the LCE had only just finished laying its dead researchers to rest. Kitteh was probably the last person anyone would want to face right now, much less speak to. What should I even say to persuade her? I was still caught in thought when someone, quite unexpectedly, made her way to Kitteh.
Yoshi hide?
I don't know how to say that.
You. Heard you got stabbed in the back by Matthias.
That's not true. Papa wasn't landing a fatal blow unless he cut through me too. That's why he did exactly that, to aim for the enemy's head. Besides, he made the right choice. A little sacrifice ain't a thing in a family.
A family. Coming from him. A middle mutt thrown out of his kennel. Doesn't it sound ridiculous even to you?
That's...
Thrown out? That...
Matthias was a GB only by technicality.
He... badly.
He was still family by name, but underneath it everyone hoped he'd disappear quietly on his own. He was that family member nobody wanted around. Same treatment for me, being his brat. Not surprising it's the ST for the bowl cut, too.
Same tastes? Oh, young Ryoshu! Could it be that thou also dost harbor a passionate zeal for the fixed...
I quickly clapped a hand over Dawn's mouth as she smoothly chimed into the conversation.
So, what exactly is your point?
The point is you're taking too long. If you can't decide whether you want to live or die, I can shorten the hesitation. CQ, or I'll sink right this instant.
What does that mean?
Cooperate quietly or I'll snap your neck completely right this instant. Sink isn't such a bad way to go if you're keen on taking that loyalty axe straight to the grave.
This is so crappy. Whatever, I get it, okay. I'll talk if that's what you want so bad.
That actually worked?
Fixers who go out in a blaze of glory aren't actually the strong ones. It's the ones who survive, the ones who live to see another day and keep getting stronger. Anyway, Yoshihide. What's up with you talking in weird abbreviations?
Just look at her sword, you'll get it.
Like SYNC. That's so random. Who even says that?
Ryoshu didn't bother to reply and simply chewed on the mouth end of her cigarette. But is that really the right call? I mean, to her, we're probably people she needs to settle the score with. I don't think she has a problem with us at all. Honestly.
As if. Half her tattoos are gone, Clock. They even confiscated her book. You think the middle sorry excuse for loyalty means so much for this stray that she'd bite us? Besides, no, better hear it from her instead. Hey, tell me why Matthias kicked the bucket.
That's 'cause... Well, 'cause Papa was weaker than y'all.
Yeah, you're the jerk's brat, alright.
Kitteh pushed herself up from the bed with a sour face, but at least she didn't argue back. And we called Hohenheim, who'd been waiting outside, back in.
I assume the prisoner was successfully persuaded. Come, you will find your weapon on the table. You may use it in the event of an emergency.
What the heck? I can't even unsheath it!
You won't be able to use it without authorization. The code has been slightly adjusted.
Ugh.
Now then, let's head to the House of Spiders at once. The back door is up and waiting for us.
We made our way back to the House of Spiders, with Kitteh trailing behind us, looking like she was smelling something particularly fishy on us.
치?
Oh, wow. Only a few days had passed since our last visit, but the place looked markedly different from what we remembered. Yeah, there's no bones everywhere. Well, they're covered up, but still, as far as anyone knows. The sight of the hollow, frigid atmosphere and the endless stretch of the corridors hasn't changed. But Callisto's so-called artworks were now covered in white sheets, and unfamiliar devices were affixed all around the back doors.
Prithee, who might those people thither be?
Hi?
Looks like some shady moved in already.
Our guarded reaction prompted Hohenheim to step forward and gesture to one of the oddly dressed figures.
It seems introductions are in order for both sides. This is Team Leader Allen from Wayfarer Office, who will be working with us on the investigation into the house's back doors.
Alan? Wayfarer Company?
A corporate entity partnered with Limbus Company, responsible for providing portal technology. It has, on prior occasion, been referred to as the new or aspirant W Corp, though the name is an unofficial one.
Our employees must have taken to calling you the new L Corp. Something we have in common, given that we're both chasing after the same horizon.
Ah, I remember. That company vying to take W Corp's place, right? God, was that mentioned like 5 chapters ago? That was a while back that was said.
The same horizon.
He's probably talking about getting recognized as a wing. After all, the old L Corp has already fallen, while W Corp, from what I've heard, is free falling at this point.
And these are the manager and the sinners of the LCB department, our field operations unit, frequently deployed to deal with the on-site matters firsthand. They have more personnel, but the rest are tied up with other duties elsewhere. Only a handful will be joining this investigation effort.
I understand. Field operation units are almost always understaffed anyway. Support you provided is more than sufficient.
I don't recognize you at all.
Alan gave an understanding nod. The man slipped off his bulky helmet before extending his hand in greeting. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Name's Alan, leader of the Door Breach Team 4.
Likewise.
Before Faust could even relay my reciprocal greeting, words spilled out of Alan's mouth in a strangely uneven rhythm, as if my ticking didn't bother him at all, like he was sticking to a script he had rehearsed. I've heard great things about you, Manager Dante of Limbus Company, and the bus's team's performance. You capitalize on the suppression of distortions at D-Corp as leverage to push your products, and the profits were nothing short of staggering, I heard.
Oh, yeah, we're supposed to be distortion resolving specialists to the public, but what's that product part about?
The manager says it was merely a matter of luck. They also look forward to working with you on this task.
Oh, are you the interpreter? In that case, I'll be sure to consult the manager only when both of you are available.
Sure.
Faust didn't seem particularly pleased with the role Alan had pinned on her, but she nodded anyway. She quietly came to my side and answered my earlier question while Alan carried on with Hohenheim.
He is referring to the Monolith Sales Project. The credit was attributed to the LCB at the express request of Mr. Hubert, T-Corp's executive director.
Oh yeah, the dude that tagged along with us back when we did the detective thing. Oh, so that's how the rumors spread, huh? We've reviewed the agreements. Now, I understand you'll be assisting in verifying what lies beyond the back doors. I'd appreciate it if you could just share any prior knowledge you have about where these back doors connect, as detailed as you can make them, if you don't mind. Hohenheim fixed Kira with a pointed look. Though Kira responded by defiantly cocking her head in a show of irritation, she still gave up a sliver of the information she had. Honestly, I've got pretty much nothing about... If it's about...
What is this? Oh my god, I am gonna have an aneurysm reading her lines, aren't I? Honestly, I've got pretty much nothing to do. Nothing if it's about Robo-Unk and his room. I mean, I've seen Albina hit up that door and the other one over there when she was popping out the farm stuff, but...
Farm?
Oh, it's, gathering material.
I see. What kind of material?
Human guts and all that. She's come back hauling piles of them. So, they're probably connected to some backstreets area.
The back streets? Any more details?
Ugh, can you stop prying? You're low-key me off. What? That's literally all I've got. For real.
For a moment, Alan leveled Kira with a stiff expression.
Yeah, he's definitely not part of
W Corp. New W Corp. He is absolutely just trying to get information out of us to use against us. Oh! And even before I could register what had happened, Kira's head jerked to the side from a sudden punch by Alan. Ugh! I thought Kira was nimble enough to dodge a surprise attack easily, but this one seemed to have caught her completely off guard. She stood there blinking, eyes round in rude surprise. Actually, it wasn't that he caught her off guard. It was the motion of the punch itself that somehow felt off. The fist being raised, the arm being extended, the blow making contact. The chain of actions was there, but it just didn't look normal.
Did you just hit me? What the is wrong with...
As Kira reeled from the unexpected strike, Don Quixote spoke up in a cold, sharp tone.
Thou, what manner of discourtesy is this?
With all that whining, I thought the brat could use a lesson to remind her of her place. You gotta go, buddy. I had no intention of damaging your company asset, of course. I simply assumed the level of warning would not be inappropriate in this case. None of us are accepting that, buddy.
You're dead.
Team leader Allen.
That sort of conduct may not be an issue in your organization, but it is here. Should it happen again, do understand that we may choose to terminate today's joint engagement without delay.
My apologies. I will keep that in mind going forward. Alan stood down without arguing back, but Kira looked far from satisfied with how Hohenheim handled the situation.
He gets to sock me in the face and walk off scot-free? Oh, so frickin' annoying.
Fortunately enough, her grumbling didn't escalate into her lashing out at Alan. That punch just now, though. What was that?
It exhibited a behavior that defied the standard laws of physics. Presumably a form of technology utilized by Wayfarer Company.
Nah, I think he's just not who he says he is. I think you are giving logic to something that does not exist. Let us resume the task at hand. Ryoshu, give Manager Allen whatever information you have. No. He's prying way too much. This guy is absolutely like a plant or something. He's full-blown testing us. I think legit, bruh. I think he tried to kill Kira just now. I also think she was too strong for it, but I fully believe he was trying to kill her to deny us information. He's a plant.
That door should lead to one of the ring-protected turfs. The other two on the left. I remember they were marked with an X painted in blood. But I H and I where they actually lead. It's all blurry.
It seems that that's all the information we can provide. Will that suffice? We now know that the doors likely connect to a perceivable area. That's already a big improvement in terms of intel for Wayfarer Company's backdoor mapping progress. which means there's less chance of us encountering a space beyond human perception past those doors. Alright then, I'll proceed with connection verification. Which door shall we test first?
We'll start with the one Cinerryoshu mentioned.
You don't trust me at all, huh? Then why even bring me along?
Ignoring Kira's jab, Alan began setting up various devices on the door. And soon, an elegant white door opened before us. It's a trap.
Absolutely, it is a trap. This guy is so shady.
Shall we?
Art thou joining us as well, young Hohenheim?
Just as once. There are procedures for handing over field operations.
Okay, let's see what's in there. What the... Is this some kind of wildlife exhibit? Dude, they have an actual whale here? Holy. They had to have bought that off of, Blue Harpoon or whatever his name is, right? Like, there's no way they fully hunted a whale. The moment we stepped in, the lights hit us all at once, drawing squints and frowns from the sinners. Thanks to my lack of physical ears, I could make out a room filled with statues or perhaps taxidermied animals. It felt like a gallery of sorts, but it was so quiet that the air itself seemed to carry a strange, somber weight. After a moment, someone shattered the silence, but it wasn't Don Quixote, our usual suspect.
Holy... The scale is just insane! That's a whale from the Ocean Great Lakes special issue!
Kira, who'd seemed beaten down all along, exclaimed with a bit more energy in her voice.
Oh, man, seeing it in real life sure hits different.
The Indigo Elder. Okay, that's who I was trying to reference. I just didn't remember his name properly.
The Indigo Elder solo one-shots these monsters with with that harpoon of his, huh?
It's a great wake lail. Doesn't look like the one we've encountered, though.
Organisms of various sources can be identified here. Singularity modified, outskirts born.
They look almost alive. They're not, right?
No, they're not. Duh. Though Robo-Unk did say that the ring has these zoos where they put monsters on display alive. Man, this would have been way more fun if we could have seen the moving ones. Everything here's dead. Meh. Still looks crazy sick, though. The vibe really hits.
Oh my goodness. Even though she was trying to play it cool, Kira kept sneaking glances at the massive horn display off to the side, clearly surprised in a way she couldn't hide. By the way, what is she wearing? She's literally just sportswear. She's got a jogger on and some kind of sporty bra crop top thing. To be fair, she is dressing for the heat. Considering the jacket she has on, yeah, no, the outfit just actually full-blown makes sense. That said, I felt a distinct shortage of hyperactivity, given the presence of a certain someone in our party. Yeah, she's actually playing it, like, completely straight. You would think her, Don and Kira would be getting along fantastic, which, to be fair, they kinda had a spark. Don? Oh, that's because she sees something.
The eye of a second kindred, of House Tepes. What is it doing here?
At the mention of the word kindred, I couldn't help but follow Don's gaze. Opposite the whale was another kind of exhibit. It contained items leaning on the more gruesome side of things, starting with a crimson eyeball that caught Don's attention, and body parts like hands and bones that looked as though they'd been stripped from the human body.
It's a gallery.
Of the school of Fauvism.
Probably a main studio at that.
Which comes with a maester's atelier and an auction house.
Alan, We will be making our exit shortly. Prepare to initiate lockdown sequence.
Before Hohenheim could even finish his urgent transmission, numerous footsteps closed in from somewhere nearby. Oh man, the crew of Hotline Miami is on us! Turning toward the sound of shoes clacking on the floor, we found strange figures wearing animal masks, staring directly at us. And Kira knows exactly who they are.
That presence. It's kind of like Papa's. Ain't no way! That's not a raid boss. We can clear it our level. We gotta get out of here. Kira wants to run?
Oh, we're screwed.
It's not that simple. Retreating is not a viable solution here. This door is connected to the House of Spiders. Escaping without installing a security system will invite pursuit. We must stall them until Alan is ready to initiate the lockdown sequence.
As tension thickened, one of the strangers, who wore a peculiar bone mask, stepped forward. The voice that spoke to us carried equal part curiosity and delight.
Do you like hurting other people?
I can't get the idea of Hotline Miami out of my head with these guys.
You came through that door. Then the house's fall wasn't just a baseless rumor. A stray little spiderling fallen from her parents' web. How many years has it been?
You. Who are you?
All right. It makes sense that you would fail to recognize me. I used to wear a different mask back when I used to visit as your tutor, didn't I? A wolf, if memory serves right. Yes, that must have been when I was quite captivated by the sensation of tearing into the raw, still thrashing flesh of living prey, and the predator's ferocious yet cavernously resonant howling.
Rings a bell. You're that maestro whose whole lesson was a 3-hour sermon praising the intensity of primary colors and the strength of living creatures. Don't know how to say that. Benoit, was it?
That's right, Emile Benoit. And they say you can't hatch a phoenix from a chicken's egg. Doesn't always apply, I see. Looks like that mind of yours is still sly as a raven. Unlike your nurse fathers.
Which one? Don't presume. I only remember you because of the tactility of hides and guts. Made for a passable AW. At first glance, it looked like Ryoshi was casually taking a trip down memory lane with the maestro. But I had a feeling she was, in fact, dragging this out on purpose to buy us time. That lockdown sequence thing, how much longer till it's ready?
Young Hohenheim, the lockdown sequence.
Don, who had been shooting the ring members, an incensed glare sparked by the discovery of a kindred's eye, swiftly relayed my words to Hohenheim without even a hint of her earlier shenanigans.
I'm afraid the progress and speed of the lockdown sequence lies in Alan's hands, not mine. It is, by its nature, a time-consuming work. We cannot expect haste. Perhaps that does make this a suitable juncture to trial Plan A.
Plan A?
Any suggestions that involve Don Quixote removing her shoes will not be dignified with a serious discussion. Instead,
maybe what Hohenheim had in mind had nothing to do with Don's shoes, because he opened his mouth as though he was about to retort to Faust's categorical rejection. But the moment he followed Faust's eyes and saw what she was looking at, he quietly shut his mouth and said nothing further.
Faith in potentiality is not something I dislike. As for this, however, it seems more like grasping at straws.
At the end of their gaze was Ryoshi's blade. Ryashiki.
I was going to try using it anyway.
I've long wanted to see if a maestro's death is any different. Telling him that we were just leaving won't work, will it?
No, it won't. Every individual present here would be quite the fascinating specimen to the artists of the ring. We are practically a windfall of inspiration and material that has so conveniently been delivered to them. Is it improbable that they will allow us to return unharmed?
I think is and it are reversed in that sentence. Faust is right. She and Hohenheim are geniuses, and Ryoshu is a wielder of the sword. Dawn is a kindred of a higher generation, and I happen to house a golden bow in my head. I have no idea how much information the ring has on us, but even if they knew nothing, they wouldn't let us go easily. Are you sure about this, Ryoshu?
Doesn't matter if I'm SAT or not, Clock. Think of that woman as Lei Hang, and do as you did in HC's mansion. I'll take care of the rest.
Right. That's probably our best shot. What Ryoshu meant was quite clear. Resonate with the golden bow, secure an advantage to fight on equal footing, then catch them off guard by slowing down the flow of time. A cut from the Arayashiki, even if it doesn't give us a real fighting chance, might at least stall the Maestro long enough to give us the time to get away.
The floor of the exhibit only houses submissions from students and docents. But if you look closely enough, there are some passable ones that show the promise of excellence. And above all, this is the gallery of the School of Fauvism. And mine. The gallery of Emile Benoit. Which is why I would have preferred to take you without an unnecessary fight, if possible. A shame. Still, we're talking about a unique relic here, a masterless one at that. Acquiring the Aria makes it worth the cost.
If you want a taste.
Nope. Nope. Confusion flickered across Ryoshi's face as she tried to unsheath her blade. Yeah, pretty sure that a certain daughter is not going to let that happen again. What's the matter?
How? The lock the House of Spiders used to bind the sword no longer exists. So why can't I draw the blade?
Now that's unexpected. So the rumors of you mastering that relic, were they false?
The Maestro only gave a loose swing of her arm. Oh, that's a woman? Well, keeping the voice anyway. But it was enough to make Ryoshu recoil. A shadow of surprise crossed her face. The wound looked nothing more like that. The wound looked like nothing more than a light gash, yet the Maestro's contemplative gaze shifted between the blood on Ryoshi's arm and her own, as though the attack had been an experiment to prove a hypothesis.
It wasn't hard to guess what she was thinking. Notice, did you?
I had my doubts from the moment I saw you today. Was the House of Spiders a success or a failure? Tell me, Yoshihide, what do you think a serpent's defining strength is?
What are you on about now?
Ask any student and they'll give the same predictable answers. The deadly venom, the sleek scales. Why, it's lamentably disappointing.
The Maestro advanced toward us with an assured certainty, then seized a beige thread dangling from the ceiling. No, calling it a mere thread would be wrong. It was something that resembled a thread, yet felt much more disturbing.
I, for one, have a particular liking to the jaws and the spine. The flexibility of the spine, linked like a chain, and the jaw, bound not by bone, but by ligaments that allow the animal to swallow its prey whole. Perhaps I should have said that I admire the structural refinement.
The thrice-coiled ring on her finger gave off a cold glint, and the walls and the ceiling suddenly began to echo with a sickening squelch crunch and crack of flesh and bones assembling. What the heck is that?
Which brings me to ask, what better way to claim this delivery of promising material with a single bite than a work of art fashioned from a snake?
The maestro plunged her arm into the long serpentine body of a monster. So, she's, full-blown doing a, bear witness! Whatever his name is.
I am the lord of all that is golden.
You know that guy from Elden Ring? Her sheer presence radiated a pressure as oppressive as that of the Nurse Fathers, only more primal and untempered.
Consider it a privilege. This is the first time this piece has ever been exhibited to an outsider.
Hohenheim, is the lockdown sequence still not ready?
1 minute to go. Step aside.
The attack from the ego gear Hohenheim hastily brandished didn't even last a moment. The weapon was knocked from his hand. As I scrambled to equip the sinners with their identities, something abruptly stopped the beast-like appendage midway through its hurtling motion. And the one who intercepted the blow... crap! ...was Kitteh, struggling to push back against the serpentine arm with her still sealed blades. Kitteh? Did she suddenly have a change of heart I wasn't aware of? Crap! This wasn't the plan at all! Obviously not. She couldn't have changed her mind that quickly. Because the look on her face couldn't be anything other than that of utter regret. So she... I don't know, I think a little bit of her, I'm gonna call it brainwashing, it didn't take full hold of her like it kind of did Ryoshu, you know what I mean? Like, I really think that she has a chance of redemption, and man, I hope that she's able to see it through here.
The middle, For someone who doesn't seem to be a proper member, you've inked quite the quantity of tattoos onto yourself. You must be the new kid Matthias took in. Why do you stand in my way?
Effed if I know. I'm already regretting it, alright? Dang it. They're defo gonna ditch me here. Why did I even...
Must be instinct taking over.
Couldn't fully shake off the opponent's killing intent, so the body chose to clash head-on.
So the behavioral facet of the psyche can be controlled with suitable training. Unexpected data, but useful to be sure.
Shut it, mister! Quit yapping and let me use my blades!
Authorized and ready. Lifting locks. Now!
Kitteh's thermal weapons emerged from their sheaths with a metallic clang. She used the recoil of the motion to skid back and assume a defensive stance. Naturally, that broke Benoit's arm from the deadlock as well. The maestro lashed out again with that monstrous limb, but... Huh?
'Tis a foul injustice to strike against an unprepared opponent in a duel! Behold, for I shall allow thee a glimpse of the form that only the most renowned of fixers have displayed through the ages.
Seeing an opening, Dawn slammed into the arm with her full might, knocking it off its trajectory. Predictably, however, the sheer force of the maestro's attack instantly reduced her to a red sludge of flesh and bone, sending her remains crashing into the door. Ready to initiate lockdown sequence? I will seal the door immediately upon your exit. Poor Dawn. I mean, she really wanted... her and Kitteh could get along so well. To be fair, honestly, I think Kitteh might even... I don't know, she might like it a little bit. I think she'll like the revival aspect more, though, if I'm honest.
Everyone to the door. Faust, retrieve the organic remnants of Sinner number 3.
As Faust made her exit with what was once Dawn, the students of the ring surrounded Kitteh, barring her way out. A hollow chuckle slipped out of her lips. Called it for real.
This is exactly why I didn't want to get involved. Oh, we can't leave her! Please don't leave her, bro! She has such a chance of redemption! Taking Kira back with us would mean having a sizable force of the ring trail right behind her through the door. Kira, too, seemed to have realized the risk that no one in their right mind would want to take. She lowered her head in defeat, as though she knew full well the fate that awaited her. Well, guess what? We ain't most people! I'm such a dumb... What was I thinking diving in like that?
You, don't just stand there. Get over here now.
Huh? But these guys are gonna come flooding in to fight.
You, TTM, want to get cleaved in half again?
You pin this on me later, you're gonna pay! Blocking the Maestro's arm by a hair as it came down on her again, Kira hurled herself toward the door with every bit of strength she could muster. I'm so glad we saved her, bro. She deserves a chance! More than a few students rushed in through the doorway, chasing after the sinners who had gone in ahead. But... Lockdown sequence complete! All backdoor links have been cut. Fortunately, Alan managed to sever the connection between the two back doors before the Maestro could cross over.
Bowl cut. Think you can still use your arms?
I'm fine.
So she says.
Kieran would be a strong addition to fight for us, but the ring members that had managed to cross formed a rather sizable force. Fighting them off with just the sinners I have at my side would not be the best course of action. In that case... Guys, I assume you're all available right now? As soon as I call out to the sinners, their voices come through Hohenheim's radio one after another. Huh? I guess so? Ready for your order, Executive Manager. I, Otis, am prepared to answer your call whenever and wherever. Huh? Hang on, I just need to finish this bite.
Everyone to me!
너희 너무 얕잡아 보인 거 아니야?
Bruh, they're toying with you. Oh. You know, maybe we should have left her. On second thought, you know, maybe we should have just left her back there. I'm actually considering that might have been the better idea. So, yeah, remember that thing that I said I was going to tell you about at, like, the start of this video? Yeah.
I have a bit of a team ready to go.
So, let's see what we're up against, shall we? Kira! Even though she's not against it. LCE? Question mark? I hope so. Time for some warm-up. If target has 3+ burn and bleed, find a power +2. On hit, deal 3 bonus blunt damage up to twice. Unbreakable, deal 3 bonus blunt damage if this unit has styled augmentation tattoos, inflict 2 bind. Totally bad kicking. Same deal, final power. If you have augmentation tattoos, inflict 2 bleed on coin hit. On hit, deal 5 blunt bonus damage, raise stagger threshold by 5, deal 5 bonus damage, raise stagger threshold by 5 at 3+ grudge. Reuse this coin 3 times. I'm so happy! Yay! Okay, first of all, I'm glad that we saved her, because I really don't think that we should have left her, despite it all. But still, you know, I'm just happy that she actually gets a real chance here.
Disemboweling!
Thermal Blade skill. When in Thermal Blade's on state, this skill activates its Thermal Blade effects. If target has 3+ burn and bleed, coin power +1. If you have augmentation tattoos, inflict +1 bleed count on coin hit. At 3 grudge, gain 1 envy damage up. Inflict 3 bleed and inflict +2 bleed count.
Crossing Dervish!
When in Thermal Blade stance on... that's close enough. Coin power +1. Inflict 3 bleed, 2 bleed count, 2 bleed count. Deal 5 bonus blunt damage, and inflict 2 bind if you have tattoos.
Violent Breaking Slam!
If this unit has augmentation tattoos, inflict +1 bleed count on coin hit at 40% or lower HP, or 2+ augmentation tattoos deal 60% more damage. At 2+ grudge, 50% chance to inflict 1 paralyze on coin hit. That's insane.
Consume all grudge on self. Inflict 3 bleed, 2 count, 2 count, 5 and 5, and inflict 3 bleed. I'll get you back for this. When hit, reuse this skill once for every tattoos on self, max of twice. When you have tattoos, inflict 1 bleed on coin at 40% or lower, or 2 tattoos, deal 40% more damage. On hit, inflict plus 2 bleed count, inflict 1 bleed, and lower user stagger threshold by 10. How about passives? Thermal weapon! Yep. Okay, we've already basically seen this. When hit by skill, gain 2 grudge. When an ally is hit, gain 1 grudge. At max grudge, use a powerful attack. At less than 80%, 60%, 40%, max out grudge. Fair enough. Now, the owl and the wolf.
Tell me, do you like hurting other people?
Artwork preparation. If target does not have mauled color, clash power +1. If target has 6+ blinking and sinking, blinking, bleed, and sinking. Blinking and sinking. Oh my goodness. Apparently I've been reading for too long. To be fair, I did just record a bit of Runa today too. That's probably why I'm having so many issues actually talking. But either way, at 6+ bleeding plus sinking, coin power +1, and inflict 3 sinking and 1 bleed. Brisk expression. If target does not have bald color, clash power +1, coin power +1. If target has 5+ bald color, convoy all coins to unbreakable. Damage from the skill does not stagger, and it also does not trigger sinking. If it's, clash lose. On it, inflict 2 sinking, inflict 1 bleed. If this unit has haste, if you have haste, reuse this coin. Wow, okay. Finishing touch. Coin power at less than 50% HP, or if target has 5+ bald color, convert all coins to unbreakable. Same deal. Okay. On hit, inflict 3 sinking count, inflict 2 sinking, 1 bleed, 2 sinking, 1 bleed. If you have haste, reuse. Partial artwork. If target has mauled color, clash power +2, inflict 2 mauled color up to twice. Mauled color blue. When hit, gain 1 sinking potency for every 3 stacks. You thought I wasn't gonna read it, huh? At turn end, lose at 5+ stack, lose 5 SP.
If the middle uses their tattoos for self-augmentation, does that make the rings tattoos more brands that, when forcibly applied, weaken their enemies?
Seems like it. Intense primary color blue. If target does not have sinking, inflict +3 sinking count. I give up. On hit with the skill, inflict 1 mauled color. If this unit has haste, inflict an additional. Gain 1 haste for every 4 mauled color inflicted 2 times per turn.
There are beasts that fall in and out of vogue within the school of Fauvism. Yes. But a true artist must take fierce pride in that single animal as the underdrawing which best represents their unique self. Despite this wisdom, however, there are some who flit from beast to beast, as though the self is nothing more than a costume to be worn and discarded.
We do something similar to that with our identities. If this unit's speed is faster than the target's clash power +1. When this unit is killed, inflict 3 mauled color on a random enemy. Faltering Inspiration. If target has mauled color, deal 10% more damage but gain 1 fragile, and then double it when you're panicked. Now, Mr. Impulsive. Wild Stroke. If you have... if the target does not have mauled color Rogue, clash power +1. If they have 6+ bleed and sinking, coin power +1, inflict 3 bleed and 1 sinking, so he's the reverse. If you don't have clash power +1, okay. If you have 5+ mauled color, convert all to unbreakable. Inflict 3 bleed, 1 sinking, and then inflict +2 bleed. Count.
Lefovism. Paint and unfurl.
Deal 10% more damage for every 3 mauled color on the target, max of 30%. Coin power. At less than 50% HP, or if target has 5+ mauled color, use coin 3 an additional time and convert all coins to unbreakable. Unbreakable effects. Inflict 2 bleed, 1 sinking, 2 bleed, 1 sinking, 3 bleed, and 1 mauled color rogue. Gusset. If target has
Mauled Color Rogue, final power +2, and on hit, inflict 3 bleed. Mauled Color Rogue, when hit, gain 1 bleed potency for every 3 stack once per turn. Turn end, gain 1 defense level down next turn for every 4 stack, max of 2. Some say that the ring's paint... Oh, interesting. Okay, so it is slightly different. Some say the ring's paint is made from the same base material as augmentation tattoos. They are both nigh indelible pigments that take considerable effort to erase, let alone bleach. Facets before hitting. If target does not have bleed, inflict +3 bleed count. On hit with the skill, inflict 1 mauled color, gain 1 attack power up next turn for every 4 mauled color inflicted up to 2 times. The first step is always but a single animal, and with every quest for art and verity, another beast is layered atop the previous specimen. When this unit or an ally is hit, gain 1 offense level up next turn, once per skill, 3 times per turn. And final brushstroke, it's the same as blue, but red. Alrighty, it's a battle of the arts, wouldn't you say? So, let's see how we can do here. I'm just gonna go for coin power, then we're gonna go for some nice one-sided into a finishing touch. Go! God, that was a lot of passive reading. That was a lot of reading. I do not think we're gonna be able to do the entirety of this chapter. My voice is not gonna be able to do that.
Overpainting.
Okay, Hematic Coloring coming down from the one, the only, losing every single clash, not depressed boy. By the way, we are missing one of the artists, but you get him from doing this event enough. Let's see. So she's got 4 grudge, and we have a whole lot of mauled colors. Not really a whole lot to be done about that, but that's okay. Let's see. Struggling here. I say we go for defense. He does not have over 10 bleed. You know what? We're struggling, but let's just try it. All of our people are very silent because we did technically summon them using Malkuth. Bro, seriously? She said in the background. She being Kira. Behold. Okay, multiple colors are now going to bleach us, as it were. Okay, and we're ready to become seen. There we go. Max resonance as much as possible. Then, I'm actually going to go double defense so that we can try and defend ourselves a little bit. We can also try to defend Kira if need be. Here we go. Defense assist coming down, but not after our own brand of fauvism. I was tempted to do a howl there, but I'm not going to do that. That was kind of cracked. Oh my god. Here we go. Repressed flesh.
대박. 방금은 간지였는데. 아이씨.
사정없이 몰아칠 테니
되잖아. 이럴 땐 딱 씹어줘야 하는데.
Oh my goodness.
왜냐면 예술을.
Behold, she is revealed to us. Now, we're going to go boom, boom. Boom, boom. Triple resonance. God, that really doesn't help our odds, though. Even though it's a one-sided evade, that doesn't matter. We still get the defense assist, which is more so what I want. He doesn't have any bleed, so that's actually going to get no value. Okay. And then Kira's also going for a very powerful attack this turn. All right. Well, our defense assists are pretty much going to be the biggest thing this turn. However, massive AoEs await our enemies. Now, time to close this exhibition.
항상 저희 영감을 일깨워 주시는군요. 나쁘지 않아요.
Eh, that was a free attack. Okay, double swing from Rodion.
먼 치킨.
Only 3 left.
압도적인 전력. 가끔 질릴 때도 있지만 역시 늘 먹던 맛에서만 느껴지는 도파민이 있다니까.
You're not making it easy to not want to leave you, just so you know.
Okay, let's go for absolute resonance. Then, honestly, let's let that dog out. You'll see what I mean about that in a second. But it sounds very funny out of context. Okay, tiny bit of bleed, little bit of defense power down.
짜증나게.
We do have a whole lot of mauled colors, but that's fine. Ah! Okay, a little bit of sinking, that's alright. Butcher! Okay. Good bleed, good defense level down. We are going to take some one-sided. We're okay, though.
Anatomize.
The music in the background is so, like... and fitting for the area. Really funny, given the context.
탑공창.
A staggering strike.
There we go.
Let that dog out!
Beak! Literally just a poke, and that's it. And another stagger for our exhibition. Oh, he is so dead.
재밌었다.
Peek! It's only the first door, and the impediments are already beyond expected levels. Ugh, I swear, I thought that was it for me back there.
Events of this nature won't be frequent. We will merely be set by ill luck.
If you just listened to me and picked another door, we wouldn't have gotten cooked like that in the first place. Like, why even drag me into this if you weren't gonna trust me? Weirdos.
We would have opened them all at the end of the day. SD.
SD? What's that?
Same difference.
Oh, again, why shorten it like that? Why not just say duh or something? Or just spell it out and say it was anticipated.
That's WA.
Huh?
Good work, everyone. Wayfarer does have a team dedicated to this sort of task, but the mortality rate is quite high. Honestly, I was bracing myself for the worst. The odds of completing the first door of an expedition without any casualties are under 15%. This, by all measures, counts as a flawless expedition. Tapping away at his device, Alan addressed us with an amicable smile. He seemed totally different from the same man who had manhandled Kira with a fist to the face. Those Falvists won't be able to cross over anymore with the door completely locked down, right?
That cannot be asserted with certainty.
Are you saying more might come?
The corridors and back doors have always been the ring's turf, Clock. And those Falvist beasts have endured as a long-standing faction within the ring.
If they've got that much history, they must know many back doors, both the origin and destination points.
Alan clarified what Ryoshi was hinting at. Yes, compared to them, we lack sufficient knowledge of alternate routes, which makes it difficult to prevent infiltration.
No need to concern yourselves over much. Even if that were the case, it is unlikely that they would move on the House of Spiders so soon.
They could always rush for a surprise attack, though.
Even that Falvist Maestro seemed to lack clear intel on the event that took place at the House of Spiders. If so, it follows that they will need time to assess and deliberate about the situation.
The situation? The logical scope of their concerns will be identifying the organization that has secured the House of Spiders, the possibility of additional traps beyond the back doors, and the like.
Once all backdoor-related procedures tied to the House of Spiders are completed, the resulting security framework should be able to preempt and block any infiltration attempts. This operation is more important than I thought. That aside, why couldn't I draw the blade? Is it the new scabbard's fault? Ryoshu lifted the sheathed sword with an irritated frown. And that's when I felt a faint vibration. The blade was twitching ever so slightly.
That quivering most faint. 'Twas seen by all, indeed. Dang, I saw it too. Is it possessed or something?
Yes, actually. You are dead on. Looks like I wasn't the only one who saw the sword twitching, as though it wasn't pleased at all with how Ryoshu was talking about the scabbard. Ryoshu's gaze lingered on the sword before slowly shifting toward the back doors. Could it be that seeing the scabbard brought back some memory of Araya? Ryoshu, do you... Is it an SS? A demon edge? An enchanted blade? Which is it? It's probably neither of those. Nor is it a sentient sword. That's a lie.
This presents a fine opportunity to conduct another examination of the sword. Excuse us for a moment, Team Leader Allen.
Please feel free to go ahead. The attack does now damage some devices, so we're gonna have to perform some maintenance before continuing. There's plenty of other work for me to do while you're away, too.
Are we to return to the headquarters research facility then?
No, that won't be necessary. There is a facility here that should prove more than adequate.
Okay, I need to check how long this episode was, because holy, it felt like I was talking for a while. How far are we into the event? Hang on a minute. Stages. Oh, of course it doesn't tell us. Okay, since we've only done 3 stages in this whole episode, let's do some more lore. I want to be able to say that we've actually made some progress in this episode, so you know what? So be it. I like how this room looks, very backroomsy. Hohenheim brought us to what looked like a research lab, lined with cables, rows of screens, and diagrams full of complex symbols and shapes. I didn't know there was a place like this in the House of Spiders.
This is a forward base constructed by Limbus Company following Operation Spider-Pyre. It did not exist prior to the house's fall. It is intended for additional backdoor investigation and research into irregular phenomena observed during the operation.
Irregular phenomena?
An example. Research subjects, such as a spatial analysis of the correlation between the emergence of Sinner number 11 sign and the manifestation of possible future.
Oh. We're looking into how to summon plot contrivance, but, like, weaponize it. Okay, now, I know I'm being a little harsh on that point, right? Because I get it. I have been told that, well, Sinclair summoned other Sinclair, so it was actually our Sinclair's W because he summoned him. Okay. I can DoorDash food for everyone in the house. That doesn't mean that I made dinner. It was still someone else who brought it. It was still someone else who made it. I'm just the one who got them to come here. I don't know. Looking around, I spotted Sinclair and a group of researchers surrounding him, the same people who had dragged him off earlier. They were accompanied by a gaggle of sinners who had tagged along to either watch the show or kill some time while they took a breather after work.
Hohenheim, how long will the examination take?
With Sinclair's biometric assessments concluded, the analyzer device should be available for the relic now. Which means that it should be finished in an hour from now, at the latest.
A scabbard rattled again at the mention of an hour. I don't know why or how, but the way it swayed almost felt like a child trembling. You know why, dum-dum. Like, you saw her connect to it. You're the only one who does know.
It's moving again. Come along, Ryoshu. I expect you will want to witness the procedure.
Fine. Ryoshu and Hohenheim headed off to the side. The examination was probably going to start immediately. Time to get to Sinclair, then. Wait. I was making my way towards Sinclair, who was getting bombarded with questions, when an unexpected figure behind a pillar caught my eye. Oh, hi! Yeah, you better hide, because I'm pretty sure Dawn's with us, although she is goop. It was Vespa Crabro with a big piece of paper covered in crooked handwriting taped on his back. Snack? Thief? Manager.
Karen snacks. Mr. Stringbean ate up all of them.
I don't remember how he talks at all.
Sorry, but I think there's been some misunderstanding.
Verg, kick his...
Not only is this matter not worth pointing fingers over, but Charon also shares some of the responsibility for leaving them out on the table unattended. Still, I would prefer you exercise more care next time, or you'll put me in a tough spot. Understood. Charon?
Charon. Super sulky mode engaged. Not talking for half a day.
Deploying Super Pass Bitter Candy.
Beep beep. Mode disabled.
I'm not sure if this is an appropriate request, but may I remove the paper from my back now? It's a little inconvenient for me.
Charon forgives his time. Next time, no mercy.
Best make sure she doesn't listen to that radio channel again.
Vergilius looked on with an inscrutable expression as Charon peeled the snack thief sign off Vespa's back.
Make sure to remember this, so I don't have to think I'm burning through what little candy chance I have.
What little candy chance
I have left on such trivial nonsense.
Thank you. Vespa gave a polite thanks, but he was already picking something off another plate and stuffing it into his mouth.
Wait a minute, I was saving that for later!
I assumed you were being picky.
Well, now you know, yet I still see you gobbling up my share! Oh, he took my snack too, Verge. Kick his...
Rodion Romanovich. I am aware that half of the total snack budget allocated to each sinner is being funneled into your snacking expenses. And now you're raiding the LCE's supplies as well.
Chill! That's totes been agreed upon, okay? Besides, that's that, and this is this.
Ooh, that's a very specific phrase, almost. The lines on Vergilius' brow look deeper than usual today. That's because he's not used to this much trouble. Hoping to help him out of this endless cycle of snack-related headaches, and to satisfy my own nagging curiosity, I drew near our guide and broke his brooding silence with my TikToks. Did we learn anything about Sinclair's sign?
Dante is inquiring about the outcome of the research on the sign.
I've heard from the researchers, but nothing of particular significance came out of it.
Observation of the sign has so far been limited to 2 individuals.
the manager, and Sinclair. Due to the limited accessibility to the phenomenon, the only verifiable information has so far been its existence. Researching that which cannot be observed is bound to be difficult.
Faust has a point. Aside from Sinclair, none of the sinners can actually see the sign. And the same would go for the researchers. Even Sonya said only a select few people could perceive it.
If there were more individuals bearing signs, there would be a wider pool for a comparative analysis of statistical samples to narrow down the scope. However, records indicate no suitable references exist. At present, the research effort is limited to reducing variables, such as whether or not the irregular phenomenon are tied to the location where the battle took place.
By individuals bearing signs, do you mean people like Demian and Sanson?
Wait, then...
I don't care about Sanson, because he's a blood fiend, whatever. He can have whatever magic he wants. I have no problem with him. Yet. Plus, he didn't ruin Sinclair's moment. Like... anything to do with this sign just ruins his moments, man.
Wait, then, could those guys do what Sinclair did? Pull in some superpowered future self and just wreck everything?
Yeah, probably.
Even Sonya?
I should step in and put an end to the subject before Radia gets the blues. I don't think so, from what Ishmael and Faust reported back then.
Right. Sinclair from the future said each sign carries a different power, I think. Maybe, you know, those layers of light rings Demian used to finish off Gromer, or Sanson dragging us into his story. Those could be it.
The rings of light, you mean the... is that Shin, or is that Mang? Shin is the aura, Mang is the rings of light, right? So Demian's power is that he just has unlimited Mang, I guess.
Aye, that doth seem plausible.
So none of that is information we can confirm yet.
Correct. As you have stated, any discussion of this subject would not venture beyond the realm of wild speculation. Nothing has been proven yet. Ergo, fear would be an unnecessary response at present.
This is, at best, grounded in supposition, but it would seem that the researchers are coaxing forth a hypothesis from the vestiges left in the wake of Sinclair's future self.
Oh, that. And a bit about the sign, maybe being some singularity or whatever, yeah?
The precise position of the hypothesis was that the fundamental principles of the sign's working may be equivalent to those of singularities or relics. But as no actionable evidence was obtained from Sinclair, there is presently no means by which this hypothesis may be validated.
I see. Then nothing came out of them dragging Sinclair off for that research. Gosh darn.
Oh, you also thought I was being dragged off, but still let it happen anyway?
No! I mean...
I'm kidding. Just thought I'd try going along with the mood.
The old Sinclair wouldn't have even thought to joke around like that. He's really changed lately. For the better, I think. So, did anything happen we should worry about?
I stuck close to him just in case. Nothing serious came up. Just took some blood, a small skin sample. Oh, and they were also checking if the sign reacts to electrical stimulation. Yeah, and, I had to fill out some questionnaires, too. Things like, please describe what you remember from the battle exactly as it happened, or, list of sensations you felt when you regained consciousness.
And your memories of that moment have yet to return.
No, I don't know if they'll ever come back, actually. Fal said that they only exist with my future self, so... Wait, but for my future self to even have those memories, shouldn't I carry them in the first place? Which comes first? The chicken or the egg?
A paradox, it would seem. In such a case,
That Sinclair is merely one branch among many possible futures. Oh boy, here we go.
if the future unfurls into boundless branches by means of ceaseless bifurcation, then the body of information that constitutes a certain future would scatter into grains more fleeting than dust, too diminished to ever reverse their course and trace their path back to the self that now exists. Is that the theory suggested?
Not a certainty, but a plausible interpretation.
Oh, here you go again. More of that nonsense only you lot understand. Oi, remember or not, that future guy still came out of him, didn't he? And some part of him's gotta be left in there somewhere, yeah? Like, muscle memory or whatever. Perhaps he can still pull off some of those tricks from back then.
Tricks from back then?
I heard you kicked off proper out there. Even pulled out that trick you picked up from that. Plastered old geezer, right?
Not just that. He was using that Mang technique quite effortlessly, too.
What? That glowing ring thing?
Yep, the glowing ring thing. He had 2 of them coiled around his weapon. I used the glowing ring thing? This is the first time I'm hearing anything about it. Alright, so what exactly is that glowing ring thing? Anyone? Maybe some technique that enhances physical capability?
I actually think that's dead on. Because, I mean, think about it. Anytime it's used, it's usually used for, like, a giga powerful strike, right? Like, oh, hang on. What's his name? Frickin', really cool dude with the rabbits. Oh, I can't remember his name. The really tall dude. Frickin'.
I ask again.
You know the guy that I'm talking about? Oh, I can't remember his name. The really cool dude that I'm excited and hope we see again. Like, he formed 3 of them to instantly one-shot Mr. 5 Unbreakable Coins, right? Leheng. And then, come to think of it, they mentioned Demian, who used it to one-shot Cromer. Who else has used it? This Sinclair. Oh, frickin' Ryoshu's dad used it. So, yeah, I think it literally is just like a physical boost.
I mean, I guess that flashy aura that makes you real tough's one part of it, but there's gotta be more, right?
I think one is the body, one is the mind? Strength? I don't know. No. Could be a secret finger thing that they pass down to their members. Technique, gear, something like that. Ah, look at it. That, Black Coney leader, that, Leheng guy, and the nurse fathers we fought. Okay, so... Okay, alright, Heathcliff. Apparently we're on the same wavelength then, because I just mentioned them too. A whole lot of them's fingers, ain't they?
The notion seems to unravel, for even among the LCD, there were those who came to wield it.
Sora didn't use it, did she? By the way, I remembered her name. Arayayishki sword thing wearing off on me.
And Vergilius, too.
So what, only the proper hard can use it? Some posh top-end trick, is it?
Without anyone in particular prompting it, the sinners slowly turned their gaze toward Vergilius and Vespa.
Uh-oh.
I only learned to wield it from my team leader, too. I have a sensory understanding of Shin, but I can claim nothing too profound. However, what I can spare are some rumors, though they are all without proper sources.
Rumors?
They circulated among elite fixers and association leadership that there exists a power called Shin, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs.
Rumor among fixers, sayest thou?
Yes, even the technique to manifest it. How-to tips, really, spread through hearsay.
Right, Kira's still with us. Oh, she's still a prisoner. Nah, whatever. I mean, she's alive. We saved her, so it's something. Oh, yeah! That tracks! That super rookie column in the latest mag bonus vid? Bro was really popping off with it. Straight up aura farmed with the shiny Mang wrapped around the weapon. Alright, put her back in the cell. It must be that mine eyes are yet to be privy to seeing such a marvel in a video. Wait, you serious? It's in the latest issue. Literally on the videotape in the back. Maybe you missed it? Videotape? Alas, for many a week have I been stranded Mephi, relieving me of a chance to not read only the prior chronicle, but the latest one as well. Woe is me! When I return, I shall feast through the night upon those noble exploits of adventuring fixers. As Dawn dramatically spiraled into a state of utter dejection, Otis cut into the conversation, her gaze narrowing with suspicion. Eyes would have worked. From what I recall, the Mantle of Shin grants its users a high degree of physical enhancement. There is no such thing as reinforcement without supplies. No power of that magnitude comes without an equivalent cost to wield it.
That power relies on emotion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistent like prosthesis and augmentation. And depending on how it is used, the consequence it demands can reach levels comparable to the ego you use.
Does that mean at some point we're gonna be able to manifest Shin and Mang at the cost of, like, resources, kind of how we do with ego? That'd be pretty cool.
You mean to say that it exacts a toll upon the mind?
I can walk you through the fundamentals if you like. From what I observed, it appeared to be a technique reserved for those of considerable strength. At our current level, is it not unreasonable to assume we could make use of it? Regarding that, our team leader has been conducting intensive research. And according to her, physical strength itself has little bearing on one's ability to learn and wield Shin.
As the Yellow Harpoon says, it is, in essence, a power that can be learned by almost anyone, provided that they know the proper method of training.
Vespa's brows visibly twitched the moment Yellow Harpoon left Vergilius's lips. Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's a big fan of his own title, the Yellow Harpoon. Well, it fits, I think. He's got those yellow stripes on his clothes, and he uses a harpoon, too. Can he argue with that?
If I were to exaggerate, even Sinner Yisong's pre-contract self could manage to learn it. Why must this self of mine be chosen as a point of comparison?
Well, 'cause you're the wimpiest one here. Don't let it get to you. Oh, Yisong, you are in so much trouble, buddy. Even Sinclair is comforting you. And then he slumps to the floor.
Even so, it would be a mistake to assume its power. It's a power anyone can grasp with ease. As long as you are bound by contract as sinners, your ability to wield it will be severely limited. Unless you rely on particular identities or come upon an extraordinary circumstance.
Shame that. Would have been useful. Hey, then, what about me? Can I learn it too? Kira, who had been fidgeting with her fingers, raised an arm,
and asked as though she couldn't hold the question back any longer. Come to think of it, the middle nurse father didn't use any Shin or Mang. No, he just had extreme grit from memory.
Papa never taught me how to use it. He always said I can get stronger without a stupid crutch like that.
I mean, hey, he wasn't wrong. It wasn't that he didn't teach you, he couldn't. He was a man who probably had never once reflected upon his own sins. A piece of trash like him would be incapable of even comprehending such a power in the first place. Vespa's responses always come back dripping with venomous hatred whenever the conversation turns to the topic of the fingers. Kira must have noticed too, or perhaps she simply couldn't find the right words to push back. Either way, she held her tongue, her expression settling into a blend of frustration and something that looked a little too close to sadness. If you want to reduce it, If you want to reduce it to a yes or no, then yes, you will be able to learn it with the odds in your favor. That is, assuming that the company decides to tolerate your continued existence.
I already said I get it.
As it stands, you're nothing more than a pending case of disposal, closer to a threat than you are to an ally, strictly speaking. Don't get comfortable because the manager and the sinners treat you with lenience. Step out of line and you will be the one who pays the price.
There was nothing in what Vergilius said that I could argue with.
Well,
I can argue. I would just die. Kira had been a member of the House of Spiders. She murdered scores of LCE researchers.
yeah, but who doesn't? That's just like a daily occurrence. Like, kill a couple researchers? Oh no, buddy, they die by the thousands. The OG company would literally kill them thousands of times.
You know, what's a little bit of researcher killing? And left us with plenty of memories we'd rather not visit. For now, we're just working together. Not contesting that decision doesn't mean we have no hard feelings toward her. Leaving Kira alone with her thoughts has sent her slip back into their own business. Snacks, idle chatter, and conversations about whatever had happened around LCE.
The examination is concluded. I suppose it won't be an issue to let you hear the results together.
And before we knew it, Hohenheim and Ryoshi returned.
To present the conclusion first. No, the notion of the sword being a sentient one is incorrect. The locus of the will is not the blade, but the scabbard.
So it's not sentient because it's the scabbard, not the blade. That still means it's a sentient sword, though, doesn't it? Well, I guess maybe he's more saying, like, well, actually, you could just apply literally any kind of blade to the scabbard, and it would just become that weapon and still be sentient. Alright, if he's saying it that way, fair enough.
An ego forged in a rather paradoxical nature. Yes, that would be the most appropriate description.
Ryoshi seems to really enjoy that.
Not a sentient sword, huh?
Ryoshi's grumpy dismissal made the scabbard quiver, almost as if it had taken offense. Somehow, I felt like I could understand what Hohenheim meant by will now. It was a reunion of sorts, one that gave both a tinge of sadness and hope. If the scabbard has its own will, does that mean the owner of that will can be resurrected?
It is too premature to deliberate on the matter. The state of existence under question is not one that may be defined as death at the moment.
So what I'm hearing is, there's still a chance.
I assume they asked whether it can be revived or brought back to life, so to speak. Even supposing that survival is a fixed variable, and that reconstitution of the original corporeal body falls within the realm of theoretical possibility, the probability approaches zero given the limits of today's technology and conditions.
I mean, I want to believe that both of our, both sinners who have had someone be erased in two very different ways, but I want to believe that both of them will eventually get that person back. But I guess we'll see. There's a lot of time left before we can tell that.
We researchers are inclined to entertain even the infinitesimal chances, but in the terminology of the lay people like yourself, such a prospect would be labeled impossible, wouldn't it?
I don't know about all that, but I will say nothing.
There is no need to fixate on the impossibilities of the present, Manager Dante. Such matters are reserved for us scientists to hold on to.
Right.
But we may have uncovered a thread, something that could lead to restoring Tsunaryoshou's memories. Though, again, that too is merely a possibility. A far more practical avenue for you to pursue at the moment, nevertheless. And to that end, yes, further analysis on the scabbard itself would be necessary. Coordinate with Alan for your next duty. He should still be in the Ring Nurse Father's quarters. That will be all.
Hohenheim cut himself off there, clamping his mouth shut as if any further exchange might scatter and mess up the theories that he'd constructed in our conversation. He's like, I gotta write this down, like, right now. Alright, then. Before we go, anyone wanna tag along? Munching on food, averting their gaze, the sinners were pretending they weren't interested at all. But going by the way their forks had long since stopped moving, it was pretty clear to me that they'd been intensely listening in on our conversation.
Where are we to go?
Right. So, forgot the rest of you weren't there with us earlier. Faust,
Don Quixote.
Ryoshu, and I have been checking where each backdoor leads. And Kira. Oh, and Kira, too. The prisoner of war executive manager? No, Kira.
We talking about me? Yeah, I guess I'm working with them too, yeah.
Best remember to tread carefully. Should you cause even the slightest harm to the executive manager, you will be held accountable without exception.
Yeah, sure, whatevs.
Dude, I love that she's so sick of being threatened that she's just like, yeah, whatever, let's just move on. That is so good. Kira needled at Otis with a mocking pout. But oddly enough, she didn't appear particularly irritated. Anyway, I think it'd be better if we had a few more people, just to be safe. Like Kira? One of the doors we went into earlier led straight into the ring's corridor. That was a close call. Otis and Heathcliff's hand shot up the moment I finished speaking. I would very much like to accompany you, Executive Manager. I knew I could rely on you, Otis. Your recognition of my loyalty honors me, Executive Manager. I, Otis, understand better than anyone. God, you're such a suck-up. Oh, my goodness. Better than anyone that you're concerned about the peril of working with a prisoner of war so liable to betray. To have your indispensable self proceed with only a handful of soldiers under your command. This cannot stand. I'm afraid I won't be able to focus on other duties without personally seeing to your safety. I get it, Otis. You've made your point clear enough. Not keen on how I just keel over the moment you summon me. Feels a bit dodgy, that. Better I stick by your side and scrap it out myself.
You probably don't need me to come along then.
I guess you could just summon the rest of us like you did earlier if stuff hits a fan.
A research yet unfinished holds my efforts. I shall join you once it has found closure.
I don't think I can be much help wherever you're going. I'll pass.
I will follow if that is your order, manager.
No, it's fine. Just get some rest. It'll probably be okay. I can always summon them again if things get too dangerous. For now, I should go see Alan again. Ah, you've arrived. I was waiting for you. We sifted through and isolated the doors with the highest probability of leading into the ring's gallery. The next step would be to enter the alternate door you mentioned, but I do not trust you with a single cell of my entire body. You are so untrustworthy.
Hold up a sec. I was actually gatekeeping more stuff.
Don't tell him anything. Huh? Gatekeeping? Are you saying you have more to tell about the gates? Doors?
Yep. That door over there, pretty sure it connects to N-Corp's nest. I saw Albina going in, all hyped out about some canned, whatever it was.
Huh. Ew. Ooh, brainwash goo.
And that wooden door with the bandages wrapped around the handle? Papa'd go in there to cross out vengeances. From what the book said, it's probably a turf protected by a thumb subsidiary or something.
Unlike earlier when she offered only vague snippets, even about just a single door. Kira was now feeding Alan a stream of intel that seemed solid, even to someone as clueless about the back door as me. She's far more cooperative than I anticipated, even after that Alan character roughed her up from what I hear. Yeah, I'd imagine it's because we saved her. Yeah, you'd think she'd clam up out of spite. I wonder if she changed her mind about cooperating with us. That'd be nice. I think that she really has a redemption arc incoming. If freaking Kim can do it, which, granted, Kim, the only reason I think that he wouldn't cooperate with us, there's a couple reasons, but we'll say the distortion is the big one. For now. Nevertheless, we mustn't let our guard down, Executive Manager. There's no telling when she'll turn on us. Could you not say that? Yeah, that is exactly why we should not be saying that, literally standing beside her.
Frickin', I can literally hear everything you're saying, you know.
All right, then. Based on the intel, please proceed by investigating the safest doors first. As for the high-risk ones, I'll continue checking and let you know which ones you need to enter. Alan tinkered with the devices around him and flashed a couple of doors with blue light. Guess that means we start with those. Where, do you guys want to go first? Well, they all look about the same. Just start with the closest one. Well, Alan did say these are the safest ones, so it shouldn't matter which one. Yeah, it's a trap. 3,000%. He's sending us in to die! Just as I reached for the nearest door, as Heathcliff told me to, Ryoshu suddenly veered off, stopping in front of another one that stood a few steps apart.
This door. It feels familiar.
Huh? You recognize that door?
I think I passed through it a few times when I was little.
Hardly had Ryoshu stopped speaking when a fragmented memory, painted over in parts, slipped into my mind.
Sorry. Hurt a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster.
Oh, I know. Let's go for a walk.
But I don't recall much about it.
That memory just now. Could it be tied to Araya? Let's start with that door. Okay. This one, yeah? Here we go. Impatient as ever, Heathcliff shoved the door open and strode in first. The rest of us followed, including Kira and the other sinners. Ooh, Oh, pretty! We're in like a park. Oh, in fact, we're literally at a park somewhere. And this place is...
Judging by its state, it seems to be a welfare facility located within a nest. Most likely, a park.
Every sod walking here's dragging some animal along. Means they've got money to burn. Proper rich lot, this place. The walk the past Ryoshu mentioned in her memory. And the sight of people fussing over their pets. The pieces click together, and I voiced the other memory I saw back at the House of Spiders. Did you ever come here with a puppy named Saru?
Yeah, I remember that. Not a puppy, though.
It was like a gerbil or something, right?
Saru was a bit bigger by then.
What was Saru?
Sorry, it hurt a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster.
Oh, so he is a dog. Okay, where did I get gerbil in mind? Where did that come from? I don't know.
Why isn't she getting any better? I gave her lots to eat. Oh, I know. Want to go for walkies? You love walkies, don't you, Saru?
Woof.
There's this workshop Dad always visits. The door there is connected to a park. We can go right now.
Ryoshu's childhood memory burned bright in my vision before passing. That was her as a kid?
Verily, such gentleness doth seem most unlike thee, young Ryoshu.
Hey, Clock, who said you could show them my memories willy-nilly? No, come on, you know it's not something I can control!
GG.
Back in the House of Spiders, I was the only one who could see the vision of Ryoshu's past. This time, though, her memories seemed to manifest for everyone around, just like what we experienced in H-Corp with Hong Lu. Which probably means...
Why are y'all staring at me? That's so random. What the... What the heck?
Did you not see that just now?
See what? You guys zoning out together?
Interesting. That is actually a very interesting tidbit, because hang on, what was the deal? It was, Chichun and Dayu could see it, right? But nobody else could? What was the deal with that? Was it, trying to remember. Was it because they were so interlinked to the memories, or they had such a strong bond with Hong Lu? Because there were other characters around who wouldn't see it. And equally, well, but they were really connected to Hong Lu in different ways. Maybe not so much emotionally, though. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you have to be tied to someone fairly emotionally to actually be allowed to see the memories. Or it's Araya this time blocking Kira. Could be a mix of things. Or it's because Kira's going to turn on us, but I'm going to ignore the possibility of that one. Yes, it doesn't apply to Kira. Then again, unlike how it was between Dayu... Okay, well, looks like I was on the right track then. Alright, well... Shadow predicts it once again. Unlike how it was between Lin Dayu and Hong Lu, Kira doesn't have any direct connection to Ryoshu, so I guess it makes sense.
Was that adorable hound thy companion of old, young Ryoshu?
Indeed, my one and only best friend. And because of that, Saru would be locked away in the vault every time I had to depart on an assignment with a spiral driven through her. The first ever leash. Looking back, it might have been a kinder fate had she died sooner.
To inflict such cruelty upon a voiceless animal! How can such wickedness be born?
What happened to Saru in the end?
She died before her time. I don't recall why, but there was this day when Saru wouldn't stop whimpering in pain, and I shut myself in my room, crying.
You were? Not someone else?
Who else? OC, it was me.
Even after witnessing the fragment of memory, Heathcliff looked utterly unconvinced.
And while I was grieving, Callisto offered a solution. Said he would give me a gift the next day. And what I received was something he called the Beast Bone Blade. A tanto that would whine and yelp in Saru's voice with every swing.
Ew! No way! I always knew there was something creepy with Robo-Unk. So that's how he killed your dog, huh?
No, he didn't kill Saru. That tanto was alive.
Ugh! Did you just say alive? Oh, he turned Saru into a living blade? Bloody heck. Right nutter, that psycho.
Her eyes were embedded into it like a...
God, that visual is horrendous.
Her eyes were embedded in it like adornments, and they'd stare at me in accusation, the tiny heartbeat as though it was quaking with fear. It was a horrible sight, and I felt pity. So I shortened what remained of her time with my own hands.
Got me thinking after hearing all that. Why do you still mess with that art thing, then? Let's be honest. After seeing something like that, you'd want to steer well clear, yeah?
Right? Those things he called artworks were also cursed. Straight up nightmare fuel. Like, I haven't really checked out other Ring artworks outside Albina or Nurse Father, so maybe I'm just a noob when it comes to all that, but yeah, their stuff never gave me any art vibes, for real.
Oh, every fiber of my being is...
Bro, no cap, for real, for real.
Ugh.
I mean, ugh. Okay. You know what's crazy? I have a coworker, who, I kid you not, talks exactly like Kira, and it drives me up a wall. I never say anything, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Everyone's gonna talk how they're gonna talk, and why would I say anything about it? Especially because, who cares at the end of the day? It's not hurting me, metaphorically. Emotionally, it's devastating, but it's not hurting anyone, so who cares? Plus, it's kind of just the new age lingo. Although, obviously, exaggerated here with Kira. But, oh, I'm old at this point. I don't get it. I don't understand how you are able to talk like that without feeling cringy.
I thought the same.
Well,
I was terrified at first, yet as I learned more, there were some facets that suited my taste.
thou findest appeal in those grotesque creations?
From what you've told me about Callisto, it looks like he failed to stick to his own advice. But there's something he always used to say. Art is wholly subjective, and thus one must never expect the understanding of others. The uncanny, the horrible. There's a beauty that lies in the grotesqueness of it all.
Can't say I quite get it, but if you say so. Nah, but bloody heck, how do you even end up getting used to that kind of thing?
Why do you need to understand? You're not an artist. I got used to it, but that Callisto's installation artworks caused night terrors and nightmares for... The scabbard moved, and Ryoshu came to a pause. It trembled,
but there was at once a strange liveliness to it, as though it quivered between fear and anticipation. Night terrors, crying from nightmares. In the House of Spiders?
There was actually someone who got scared of ring stuff back in your day?
I need to check something. We've seen enough here. Let's go back.
Yeah, let's. Nothing else worth checking around here anyway.
With the inspection complete, we quickly followed Ryoshu back. She stood in front of the artworks covered in sheets of cloth, lost in thought.
I want to think that the scabbard was fearful because of the chance that Ryoshu doesn't remember, and anticipating because she might.
Right here. There used to be a huge artwork displayed right here. I don't know what kind of impulse struck him, but what about fussing? Saying he needed practice so he wouldn't lose his touch. What's wrong? Thought I told you to keep the exhibition in your room.
Ah, you've returned, Yoshihide. I decided to attempt installation art of a somewhat larger scale this time, but I ran out of space in my gallery. Dearest Yoshihide, Araya has reached an age where she may be introduced to the world of aesthetics. Surely this wouldn't be a problem.
It would. You liking it and me acquiring the taste doesn't mean Araya will. Let's get you back to our room. I was hugging something in my arms. It was crying. Saru? No. Too big to be Saru. The lacerated memories can never be made whole, no matter how many fragments are glued together. We could tell Ryoshu everything we knew about Araya, but it never truly reached her. I see. This hollow void. This must be Araya. The sensation and emotion for what's been emptied began to entangle with Ryoshu's memories. And that makes it possible for us to reminisce about Araya together. The soft rattle Araya gave seemed to show how pleased she was with this small step. Alright, time to check out the next door. We entered several more back doors that Alan pointed out. But unfortunately, none of the places we ended up at stirred Ryoshu's memories any further.
Pretty much nothing here. I think we're done. What the? How'd they get in here?
Oh, hi. Startled, Kira pointed ahead, where figures wearing animal masks were hauling what looked like massive lumps of flesh, hidden behind a tent of sorts. Those ring assailants from before?
Didst thou not say that thou hast sealed that door earlier? How then do these villains come to stand before us once more?
You're such a freaking snake! Oh, I have you pegged! You are evil!
Oh, dude. Dude, my prediction is spot on. He was trying to kill Kira so that we wouldn't have information, and so we wouldn't have the potential backup. You are a traitor! Traitor! They probably infiltrated via an entirely separate route. Another back door. As you can see, their objective appears to be the retrieval of the ring nurse father's artworks. Oh, and you just happen to have nobody defending anything here? Where'd your team go?
Get on with it! We need to move as many pieces as we can before we pull out.
Wait, but I thought Robo-Unk was washed. Ooh, he's got so many fanboys and fangirls here.
Does his artwork possess value in and of itself? Or is it just a case of posthumous premium of death effect? Think about it.
Some of the pieces have already been taken, and I wasn't watching at all. Of course, they are of little value to both our companies.
Watching them sweating and struggling to drag those mediocre pieces with them. Pretty funny. But imagining how those pieces will be labeled with some pathetic notion of heritage connected to my name on their description plaques. Pretty unsavory.
They may be occupied with transporting those objects for now, but they will likely soon find cause to harm the Wayfarer and the LCE personnel stationed here, Executive Manager. It would be prudent to eliminate them without delay, considering the ring's reputation. Otis is right. Better to wipe them out before they try anything stupid. Guys, looks like we've got another job to do. Lend me a hand. The radio didn't buzz with the center's replies this time, but it should be fine. And so it is. So, little bit of time has passed, and we now have the complete full team. And Ishmael. Okay, so I know she's not exactly a perfect fit, but I still hold true that the family hierarch candidate, Chichun Ishmael, I think she works out so extremely well in this group. But yeah, we have the entire team. Not easy collecting everybody, but we also have Kira to help us out. So, we've already fought these guys. I'm gonna skip ahead, and then that's the end of the video. This video is way too long, bro.
Reduce them to nothing. Let our artwork fly free. Show them the finale and what they wished to steal.
저희 뼈로 틀을 잡고 번해둘게. 나쁘지 않아요. 이제야 친해졌네요.
Albina Faust does it again, proving she is simply best waifu. Well, Albina's better, but, you know, Albina Faust is close enough. With this, the last of the ring's infiltrators have been eradicated.
Is that all of them?
Ryoshu kept glancing around as if searching for someone, but fortunately, no other ring members were in sight. Right, but where the heck were those lot coming from anyway? Weren't just the first wave had more of those sides legging it in from the back like they'd been lurking from somewhere else? That was a rough sentence to read. According to the tracking logs recorded by the surveillance devices installed here, they appear to have crossed over from another corridor. Really? The corridors you are setting up? Another corridor? What precisely does the designation another corridor refer to? The room resembling a shopping mall, the one filled with batches of toys on display. Your company, if I recall directly, designated it as the corridor of the middle nurse father. Oh. I suggest we relocate there. Your assigned tasks have been wrapped up. Oh, and before we set off, do you have any information to share in advance? Don't tell him a thing more. We are planning to compile a comprehensive encyclopedia cataloging the notable characteristics of these corridors and all of their connection loci. Your cooperation will be most appreciated. Kira seemed to hesitate, gnawing at her nails as if she were going through an inner struggle. Before long, however, she snapped out of it like she just locked in on a decision. Sure, I got stuff to tell ya. Like, hecka stuff. Some parts are kind of fuzzy, not gonna lie, but I can still recall like 20 places clear enough. I mean, it was home for me and Papa, so...
I got nothing. I never once regarded that room as a home, and my memories of it are all fragments at best.
The scabbard gave a faint, restless stir. Perhaps it wanted to comfort Ryoshu in the only way it could. and accompanied by its tremors, we began our move toward the corridor of the middle. Woo! And with that, we have done 1/3 of the chapter. Dude, this whole episode was just reading. Oh well, that's fine. Well, either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And by the way, in case you want to know how much time has actually passed in between starting this episode and finishing it, the Sweeper's Bokgak has came. Yeah, that's how long this episode has been kind of just like very slowly being recorded. That's quite a bit of stretch of time. But you know what? That's okay. I was kind of like, I would record a little bit and I'm like, all right, yeah, that's good enough. And then I left it for a while and now here we are. So, oh, yeah, you know what? That's fine though. So here's what I'm thinking. Next episode, I would say we could try and finish the entire chapter, but honestly, I don't even know I don't know how long it's actually gonna be. I want to think, since we've gotten so much reading in this one, it is going to speed up, so to speak, and we'll finish it relatively quickly in the next one, but I don't know. Maybe we'll have another 8-hour episode coming in the next one, and that's how we'll finish it. But we shall see. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I will see you
in the next one.
Bye.